All right, we're going to have a little fun right now, learning a little bit about kinesiology and how the back muscles work and how the different arm positions reflect on what muscle groups exactly you're putting more emphasis on and actually growing. So, let's start off with a little bit of anatomy. You have several muscles that will work very well if they pull in this direction. So, let me just show you the direction, right? They go like this. This muscle here will come to this muscle here, and they will pull in like that. Does that make sense? This is called the middle trapezius muscle. I didn't tell you I was going to draw on your back. He's smiling right now because he hates me. He didn't know I was going to do that. But what I want you to know is right here is this nice muscle, and we're just going to call it the middle trap, okay? Now, in the middle trap, there's also these other muscles, and they're called rhomboids, okay? And their job is to take the spine. Okay, well, let's put the spine in there. Right, and bring it all the way down. All right. He's got a little bit of hair there. That's going to be fun to take off. All right, so we're going to have the spine here. And the spine represents, of course, the median, and that is where we anchor everything off of so the body, the muscles can pull the rest of the appendages. So, very carefully, we know that if the arm, can you bend over? Good, can you get this? Good. If he bends over and he pulls his arm, right, back out like this, right, well, you can see very clearly, look at this nice bulge. This bulge here, right, is the posterior deltoid. Can you get that bulge, Dan? Yeah? Good. All right. So you can see that the posterior deltoid right here is pulling. So when we do reverse flies like this, down and then up, you can see that this pull, the bone, all the way up, posterior deltoid, is pulling. So this is why this is a great position for working posterior deltoid and middle trapezius and some of the rhomboids, as you can see. Now when the tape scrunches like this, that means it's a muscle contracting or pulling. Since it's anchored here, since the mid-trap is anchored onto the spine here, you get a very strong movement pattern in this direction. Now watch what happens carefully when we do something like a pull down with the arm straight. Arm straight back. This is your arm, Troy. Keep it straight. Good boy. All right. Like I said, he just got out 2 days ago. All right. So have a look. Can you see here how the posterior deltoid is going to work? But look at the stretch that's happening here. You see, so the mid-trapezius doesn't work very well because the angle is like this. I didn't tell him it was permanent. All right. So you can see how the posterior deltoid is still going to work. The long head of the tricep gets to work because it's in its proper alignment. The lat will be working, and I'll get to that in a minute, but you see, unless his arm is pulling back like this and then stretching, it's not in its perfect line of pull, biomechanical pull. So it becomes weaker and weaker and weaker as a contributor. So when you look at back exercises, you're always thinking what percentage of the load is being done by the lat in a specific position and how much of it is being done by the smaller muscle groups. Well, I'm here to answer that for you. So, here, note, if you are doing any kind of bent over row or any kind of reverse fly, you can bet that the line of pull is always going to be here. So watch the stretch. Come down, 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 and there's this elastic stretching. That's a muscle eccentrically loaded. Come on up, and it pulls, 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 and as you can see, we have a nice concentric contraction up to an isometric contraction. But look at the lat. Now here's the interesting thing. Stand up again, please, Troy. Good. Put your arm down. The lat, turn around just a bit. The lat actually anchors itself right here on the front part of the humerus. So, but it's deep, deep down. In fact, you can feel it when you feel your armpit muscles because the armpit muscle is all down through here. So raise your arm up, and there's the lat. So this part right here is all part of the lat. It comes around like this, comes around down, and will insert down along the posterior iliac crest. From here, fiber, 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 fiber. So you see that the lat has many fibers all the way angularly down. I'm sure that's an English word. Anyway, the key point is the lat isn't a simple one movement only muscle group. It requires many, many angles in order to really truly get it to grow thick and strong. Good. So from there, if he did a pull down, you can see this is a very powerful movement pattern. But if he does a chin up, it's an even more powerful movement pattern because he gets to move it through the full range of motion. When he does a wide grip pull all the way down, look, he gets stuck here because his shoulder joint can only move so far down in this loaded position, because it's so far back. So we're missing all this extra range of motion, and so in this position these little muscles like the posterior deltoid has to do a lot more of the work. So percentage wise, when you pull down like this, yes, the lat is working, but the little muscles tend to work a lot harder. Now, once in a while you're going to have a discussion, a hopefully friendly discussion with people in the gym who say, no, a very nice wide grip pull down works really the lat and gives it a really wide shape. That's incorrect. The lat is shaped the way it's shaped, and to make it wider is actually not the case. You make it thicker, and to get the width is all about narrowing the waist while the muscle gets thicker. But you can't change the shape of a lat. It's like a balloon. You have a long balloon or you have a short balloon, but when you blow them up, the balloon is still long or still short, right? Circular or long. So same concept. So if you want to really develop the lat in this angle, chin-ups or any kind of pull-downs where you're narrow is going to be very effective in stimulating the lat. Now if he bent over and did it, it's the same thing. Anything narrow will give a nice full range to the lat. Again, if he goes wide and does the pull, the lat you can see is still working, but you're not finishing off with the full range because it still has all this to pull in. So just be clear that it doesn't work the lat in the full range, whereas in this plane, for those of you who know your kinesiology, this would be called the sagittal plane. Good? So, stand up. All I want you to know is this. If you want to work the lat, you don't choose one exercise. It doesn't work that way. It's got so many muscle fibers to it, so many different angles. You want to attack it from every angle, from the front down to every angle out. From every angle upright to every angle horizontal and then bent over.